and welcome back to another episode of the Practice Players podcast. It's been in the works for a little bit now, had some technical difficulties, but we're thrilled to have my boy Felix Okpara on. Fee, appreciate you joining.
Yeah, appreciate you having me.
Should be a fun episode. Fee's a big personality on and off the court. So just to get it started, for some of the people who don't know you, sort of explain your life journey, how you got to the States, and then ultimately Tennessee.
It all started in 2018. I moved to the States, played basketball for high school in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Played at Hamilton High for 3 years. Then transferred to Link my senior year. Then I committed to Ohio State. Played there for 2 years, and I entered the portal last year. I was to say this year, and now I'm at University of Tennessee.
So you mentioned Link a little bit, Link Academy. Talk a little bit about that team. They had some good dudes like Jordan Walsh and Julian Phillips.
It was a first time program when I went there, so it was just kind of like I would say it was an experiment to see, what they can make up, what they can build, and what kind of players they want in the program. So I think it was really great playing against those guys every day in practice. It kind of got me ready for college too, knowing what to expect. And when you play with a lot of good guys, you start to figure out like where your role is in a team. And I think that's the most important part. Like most high school kids don't realize like you ain't gonna be the main guy in college most times. So you got to figure out a role. You play on a good team and play that role good.
And building off that advice to high school athletes or sort of late bloomers. I know you yourself played soccer for a long time growing up before you realize I'm 7 billion feet tall, probably should transfer over to hoops. But what would some advice for those late bloomers be?
I'm not gonna lie to you. My little brother's a late bloomer. I keep telling him every day, like he just keep working. And you don't need to be at the position right now, but if you keep working, you're gonna get there. They like you see it every day. Like even Dalton Cadets, that was here in Tennessee last year. He was a late bloomer, and kids can always enter the transfer portal and go somewhere better. But if you keep working and don't give up, you can always go to the next level. Yeah, so that's all.
I think that social media plays a bad role in that because you see, even in football, you see like freshman Ryan Williams, like 17. You're like, oh my gosh, he's only 17. And then in the NBA, you're like, oh, he's only 18. But like some things can't be taught. Like I'm a Laker guy, so like us getting Dalton, I really like because he's been like the way that he plays is already pro ready. Where like some of these guys that they drafted that are 18 years old, 19 years old from like France or whatever, they don't really know how to be a pro yet. So it's going to take them some time versus like you get a guy like Dalton who averaged pretty much 30 in college and like knows how to be a pro, knows the work ethic that it takes. And yeah, he's 4 years older than those guys, but he can play year one versus the guys that you are taking at when they're 18 years old. You're taking them for their peak, right? You're not taking them for their floor because like you don't know if they're going to be, the next Steph Curry or the next, like, I don't know. I'm not going to be disrespectful to any NBA players, but you know what I mean? Like,
I think for them, it's more of like it's more of a game of chance. They feel like, they look at a player, they're like, he can, like, they see the potential, like, oh, he can be good.
Yeah.
They try to groom them and see how much they can like squeeze from them pretty much, and see if they're gonna be the player they think they're gonna be to help their program. And I can also look at it a different way too. I feel like most other teams they prefer taking the older guys. Guys that they know they can plug in into a good team. They can be a role player for them. And it's really just up to the program. And I would tell the other guys, like the high school kids or the college guys, I think what really helped me when I talk to someone, a couple of people, is just don't play the game of comparison. Everyone got a different story. Everyone got a different, different life, just stick to your grind, stick to your own life and your own story, and you're gonna get where
And
God planned for you.
I
Yep.
love that. One of my favorite quotes is comparison is the thief of joy. So it's like Nick
Mhm.
compares himself to Fee. It's like, oh, like I wish, I could have, been a high major starter. But then it's like someone like me could compare myself to Nick and be like, oh, I wish I could have been a walk on. Or, someone else could compare themselves to me and be like, oh, I wish I could, be at Ohio State in a GA. So it's,
It
never playing
translates to
that
life
game.
too. It translates to life. Like, even after basketball is over, if Felix, you're like, oh, I want to become a coach. Well, Dave's already a head coach somewhere, and oh, I wish I could be like Dave. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
it just, and it rattles your brain if you
yeah,
just think like your only road that you need to take, it's much healthier and it'll make you much more successful.
yeah, sure.
So I wanted to ask you too, why Ohio State coming out of high school? And then also second part to that question, like what was your favorite Ohio State memory?
Why Ohio State? I think that was the number one question for me when I committed there. Everyone was like, it was a big shock because they didn't expect me. I weighed like 200 pounds in high school and less than that. And they were like, oh, you're going to the Big Ten. You know what the Big Ten is? Like, I got a lot of aid from AAU coaches, to high school coach, to people close to me, like, why would you pick Ohio State? I think for me, it was more of a gut feeling. I just felt like it was the right place for me. And I just I went on my mind, I went on my gut. And I also knew it was a place I could, right out the back play because I knew I was going to play behind Zay Key, was a really good player. And I knew, if Zay was going to be in foul trouble or, say he wasn't feeling great, I can definitely, play in the games, And I think that's what I looked at. And I also trusted the coaching staff, back then. I feel like they were really genuine and other coaching staff, and other schools I talked to. And other question was my favorite Ohio State memory. I would say, man, now that I think about it, I would say it was spending time with my teammates. Now I'm over here in Tennessee. It's just I always, I call the guys. It's like, man, I just, I wish I cherished like every moment with them more. But I felt like I did, but I felt like I should have done better. Spend more time with them, and it was really good. The last year squad, and I definitely miss those guys. I'm praying for them. I hope they do better this year. They do good and have a great season.
Yeah, I feel like everyone sort of basketball wise ended up in great spots, whether it was staying or leaving. But the people, within that locker room from the top down, all the way from, head coach to freshman manager, I feel like there was something
Yeah,
special about all those people. And it's going to be fun to see, 5, 10, 15 years from now, sort of what everyone's up to.
yeah.
And then sort of building off what Nick said, obviously entered the portal this year. A lot of high major programs wanted your services. But what ultimately made Rick Barnes in Tennessee the spot for you?
For me, it's just it was a lot of factor that played in. Being my family being from Chattanooga, and they also went to school in Tennessee, and knowing they can come to more of my games. I would say that wasn't the deciding factor, but that was a big factor in my decision. And also knowing you know I went to school in Chattanooga for 3 years, so I kind of know the coaching staff over here. I've been close with I've been in Tennessee a lot, and I felt like there was a big spot open up, in Tennessee. It ain't gonna be, anything better than that. Good program. Last year it's always been a good program. And I also looked at the defensive rating because I'm a defensive kind of player. And I struggled a lot last year at Ohio State with foul trouble because, I felt like I was doing the most, I was trying to do the most, and got me in foul trouble. So I also looked at defensive rating. They were, I think, top 5 in the country last year. Defense. So I felt like it was a good spot for me, to learn and get better, and also know Rick Barnes is a really good coach. So I just felt it was the right spot for me.
Definitely elite basketball mind to play from. And I just have a question. Do you hate walk-ons? Because if you're watching on YouTube, I'm going to show you a clip here.
Oh,
I mean, that's your walk-on. I did my research. Seems like a nice guy. First year there, if I am correct. Why would, he's just doing a basic Hibbert. He's trying to do his job in a drill. You could have, done a light punch. You could have done a spin move, laid it up. You decided to step in from the free throw line, Space Jam Michael Jordan, and make him go viral his second month on campus.
Man, I know. I've apologized to him. I told him I was sorry. But I didn't really know the cameras were rolling for real. I knew the media was there, but I didn't know they're going I wasn't really thinking. Like, anytime I do that, Drew, I always try to dunk the ball. I always try to go aggressively. So, yeah, that was really bad. I got a lot of messages, and it was, I felt bad for him. But I also felt he got set up, too. So, it is, I ain't going to speak too much on that, but I felt like he got set up. So, but he's all good. He's all good. I don't hate walk-ons. I love my walk-ons. I'm actually pretty close with almost. I talk to. I was every guy. I'm an every guy kind of player. I love talking with every guy, like everyone. Like trying to see where they're from. Trying to understand situation they're in. I feel like that's the most important thing. Trying to be a good person.
Yeah,
you gotta put yourself in their shoes and trying to figure out what they're doing and why they're doing it. So because I felt like I've also been in that situation, and I didn't have people try to put themselves in my situation and figure out where I'm coming from. So I had change the whole perspective in the whole scenario.
Yeah, and I love being able to brag about good humans whenever I can, and for whatever it is worth for who's ever listening. Yeah, Fee obviously dunked on his walk-on, so he might hate him on the court. But off the court, whether it's, coach, player, manager, one thing I've always admired and respected about you, so I want to give you your flowers, is you treat everyone the same. I mean, we had that giant math class together your freshman year, and whether it was a regular student or the professor, you talk to them the same way you would, Coach Holtman or Diebler. So I always respected that.
And then building skill to have, just to be that kind of person. Like, I feel like especially when you're on a team like that with a huge staff and a huge roster, and I'm sure you guys have a ton of managers as well. Like, I'm not going to compare like walk-ons and managers because I know they're different roles, but there's definitely like an asterisk next to a walk-on's name, like, oh, like I'm not a scholarship guy. And then a manager's like, oh, I'm not on the team. But if those scholarship guys, like top to bottom, are treating you the same, just like a normal person, normal guy, it definitely makes you feel more comfortable around them, and not like there's it's like a manager and someone below, like in the real world. Like if the manager's talking down to you, like if there's ever, and I'm sure this has happened somewhere, like if there's a player just like telling a manager like, hey, yo, I need you to come rebound for me, instead of like, hey, bro, do you think you could have some time to come rebound for me? Like, I'd really appreciate it. Like, that definitely holds weight. And having that skill, I just feel like, kind of like a people person is huge.
It's just respect. I just feel like you got to respect everybody, regardless of who they are, or what they have. It's just respect, and I think that's one of my biggest things. I respect everyone. I also want to be respected too, because I feel like it goes both ways. So it's my own thing.
And sort of building off, I know we're talking about Tennessee there for a second. What are some of your individual goals, whether it be, for yourself as a player or like the team success as a whole for the season?
As a player, man, I just want to be available, for my team. I feel like my last years in Ohio State, I had a little bit of injuries. No one knew about it, but I had to keep it a little in the dark and just try to play. But it was kind of rough. But this year, my big goal is just to stay healthy. I've been doing that by staying getting extra time in the training room, watching what I eat. It's just one of those little things that that I feel like could go a long way, and stretching more and just pouring more time into my body because I have to be available for my team, and also spending more time in the gym. I feel like that should even be a question. That's if you're a D1 player, a D1 hooper, or not even D1, D1, D2, D3. I feel like you spend time in the gym. If you have goals to be a good team that season, and for the team, we trying to win a championship. We talked about this. We talk about this every day we practice. We try to win a championship. I feel like I can be a good piece to add on to the team with the other guys who added on from the transfer portal, and the coaching staff, and not just the coaching staff, like all the players. We all agree that we can win a championship this year.
You talked a little bit earlier about your like defensive prowess and your kind of role that you play being a defender. What are some tricks and little details you learned to make you such a great shot blocker?
Um, Man, it's just knowing when to go, when to just let it go, or when to, I feel like you watch a lot of like you go on Instagram, you see guys trying to go for blocks, and they want to swipe down. Most times, you just gotta jump straight up and just try to make them miss. You don't have to block everything. That also counts as a good defensive rating. You might not get the block, but it is still good defense. And also just you know like I said, just reading plays, like scouting report goes a long way. You gotta know when to play the player. Who you defending. If they're gonna be aggressive, if they like drawing fouls, I think that goes a long way too. And me timing and blocking shots, I feel like it's just God's gift. It comes up instant. I don't really think too much about it. I just go. My body just moves at that point. I just do it. But to be a good defender, it's just in this level, it has to be scouting and a whole bunch of practice. You got to practice it.
And sort of stepping away from the court here for a sec. For those of you who don't know Felix, he's a very big fashion guy. So we'll talk about outfits later, but for now we'll go. Fee, what are your top 3 cologne brands?
Top 3. It has changed. I've been wearing Bond '09 a lot past few months. So Bond '09. Uh, Dior. I know a lot of people they gonna tuck down on Dior, but Dior really got some good. I just love the fragrance. And the last one I've been wearing a lot. So Prada. Those 3 I've been wearing a lot in a couple of months. So it changes every now and then. Yeah, I just either when I find something I like, I just kind of swap it out.
This is free game. Do you mix? You use a couple at a time. You use
No, I don't mix. I don't know why, but I don't mix. I just feel like when you mix, you ruin that scent. I don't know.
I'm the same
I
way.
just
I
like
use one, but I know
yeah.
there's people who use multiple, like, and they like the perfect, and I'm just like, all
Yeah,
right,
I don't. That you just smell like I don't know. I feel like he's gonna smell a little. He gonna smell good, but it's just a lot for the nose.
yeah, it's a
I
lot.
just
Yeah, you're right.
All right, so
I just stick to one.
more free game for the listeners. They just took notes, wrote down your top 3. Which one is the everyday between the 3? Which one is, the casual, going out, hanging out with some people, maybe going to a concert? And which one's the,
Yeah.
oh, this is the first date, meeting the parents, going to a wedding?
Oh yeah. So the Bond '09, they have a lot of good. I'm not gonna give out the one I wear, but they definitely like I would say they top 5 in the Cologne class right now. A lot of people got a different opinion. That's my opinion. So I wear button 09 like, to go on special occasions. To hang out with the friends, I wear the Prada because he got like a sweet scent to it. And every day, that's the deal. Like I'm going to class or I'm going to the gym, just a little bit of Dior. It's I feel like it lasts to a long while. So I just wear that. So that's all.
Well, if any of those Cologne brands want to hit up Felix Okpara, we'll have his stuff pinned on our channels and everything, and you can DM him for an NIL deal. All I request is just a mini bottle. Doesn't have. I'm not greedy. It doesn't have to be this big, but you want to get a sampler, like a 10-day trial. That'll be perfect.
Yeah, that ain't too much. That ain't too much to ask for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So going back into, obviously both you spent a couple years at Ohio State together. What is the all-time 1v1 record between the two of you?
Oh my God.
Would you like to take the floor?
I'm not gonna answer that because we need to play. We need to settle this though. You might have to lead. He has to lead right now. To be honest, he has to lead.
Mm-hmm.
But we have to settle it. We need to play a couple of more games. In fact, I'm gonna come back.
It's a 7-game series. I think it's on my Twitter. Back in March, we played, I think, before one of our NIT practices. And I think that put me at 3-1, I want to say. I'll have to check Twitter. So, 7-game series. I'm not going to blow a 3-1 lead, but.
Oh, okay.
You could.
Betting
odds. Betting odds are, what are they at? -300 to close out the series?
I can't condone sports betting, but in theory, if there was a theoretical line, Fee, are you actually going to take it to heart, though, or no?
Have to, man.
All right, so to close the series, I just need one game. 1s and 2s to 7, I think is what we played. He needs to win 3 in a row. Considering he's actually trying, I think to close the series, I'm probably plus like 2,500. That's value. I'm honest. See, that's the thing with me. I'm going to talk my shit, but I'm also honest.
See, since I'm not in the game anymore, I'll sprinkle probably 100 for Felix to close it out, but I'll sprinkle a little $10 bet to see if David could close it out and win my money back.
Yeah, 10 to win 250?
Yeah, absolutely I would.
That's value. I'm a value player is what I am. I'm not a franchise player. I'm a value. I'm Josh Hart. I'm a valuable player in my role.
Hey, speaking of the Knicks.
Yep, I knew it was going to come up.
Ooh.
Do we like it? Do we not like it?
I'm not a Knicks. I'm not a Knicks fan, but I think Cat is a good player. But I don't know. I don't know how he's gonna fit in with the Knicks. So it's gonna be fun this season.
Before Dave talks, I know there's a certain handful of Knicks fans who didn't like Julius Randle. And I'm fairly certain that David was one of those guys. But getting Cat while also losing DiVincenzo. And, I don't know, this is just on Twitter, so I don't know how true it is. But, DiVincenzo wasn't, a fan of the role that he was going to play. He didn't like that he was going to be there, off the bench or whatever. So, going to the Timberwolves, I don't know really. Would he start? And too. No, he'd probably come off the bench, right?
Yeah.
But so for the Timberwolves, I don't really know. It really honestly depends on how Julius Randle responds. Is he gonna lock in and get his most improved player kind of season? Or is he gonna be oh, okay, well, I'm not in New York anymore, so I don't really care. If he does that, then obviously the Knicks win the trade. You're getting. Cat scored 60 and 3/4 last year. He's a good player.
He is.
He looked like he didn't really want to leave, so I don't know if that's gonna hold any weight in the long run. I just it was such a shock to just get that tweet at 8:00 on a random night. She's oh yeah, Cat's going to the Knicks. If it goes well, there's no reason the Knicks should not be at least in the NBA Finals. There's no reason.
All right.
Or
I'm
at
gonna
least in the finals with the Celtics. At least
what you
in the
think,
Eastern
Dave?
Conference.
I'm gonna take the floor here, and I'm glad that this got Nick and Fee both smiling because they know my affinity for the orange and blue. I'm gonna break down everything. I'm gonna react to Fee, Nick, but first I want to set the stage. We had a long day, first week of practice. Go Patriots! I'm settling down in my bed. It's about 10, I think. And that's like 9:45. Pop 2 melatonins, not one, two. 45, 60 minutes later, I'm finally feeling it. I'm about to fall asleep. Swear, I'm scrolling, closing my apps. I say, I'm going to go to bed in 10 seconds. I'm on my phone. I was on FaceTime with our other friend, Felix Breves from Vegas. Shout out Fee. And I'm like, all right, bro, I'm about to go to bed. He's like, all right, I'm going to catch you. As I'm going to click the red button and put my phone down, instantly, Shams, breaking news. The Minnesota Timberwolves trade Karl Anthony Towns to, and it's ... because it was just like the drop down preview. Instantly, already knew. I'm like, it's going to say Knicks. Scroll down, it says Knicks. I'm like, all right. I see the package. I told everyone I needed 24 hours to process it. First, I'm going to start off on the Timberwolves side. And like Fee said, he doesn't know how he thinks Towns is going to fit in with the Knicks. I'm going to flip it and say, I don't know how Randall fits in with Minnesota. And to counter what Nick said, yes, Julius Randle's first season when the Knicks were still awful, he was doing spin moves into triple teams. I was a Randle hater. But that second year, he figured it out, led the team to the playoffs, and I was on the train ever since. Like he can shoot, but he needs the ball in his hands a lot. Yes, he's a great rebounder. He's aggressive. But, Towns with Ant was perfect. Space the floor, still rebounds well. Randall's a little bit more of an aggressive player. But, Cat setting the pick and pop for Ant versus Randall, you want Towns there. 39% from three in his career. Best stretch big maybe ever. So it's going to be interesting. Minnesota, if you dive into it, the ownership disputes, they're fighting over who's going to have to pay the luxury tax. So you look at this, you see, okay, DiVincenzo, shooter, $12 million a year for another 3 years. Randall on the last year of his deal, probably going to opt out. They could have just gotten off of the Towns contract, $50 million a year. So I think that's a lot of the reason why they did it. And for the Knicks, I'm going to argue with Fee here. I think Towns is going to unlock that offense. Jalen Brunson, Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, Cat. 4 of those dudes are all 35+% 3-point shooters. You have those guys spacing. You put Mikal in a corner, OG in a corner, high pick and roll, pick and pop with Towns and Brunson. They have to stay with Towns or it's an automatic 3. Brunson has all the paint to operate in. And if so happens he misses, which is rare, you have to deal with the wrecking ball, no Miley Cyrus, that is Josh Hart coming in. And, defensively, the Knicks aren't going to be what they were with Hardenstein and now Mitchell Robinson hurt. But so much of their defense now is going to be predicated on the wing. Josh Hart, Miles McBride, OG Anunoby, Mikal Bridges. Good luck getting through that to begin with. So it does.
What's the starting 5 then?
Right now, because Mitch or Robinson's out, so it's Brunson, Mikal, OG, Hart, Towns, and then you have Deuce McBride as your 6-man. That's hell.
No, I don't hate it.
That's hell.
I mean,
for opposing teams, that's hell.
I'm telling you, if every team, like if you guys unlock your potential, there's no reason that you guys shouldn't win 65+ games. I mean, 65 is crazy. 60+ games. I think you guys.
Injuries aside,
obviously, as long as everyone stays healthy.
I saw this stat. It was, let's say Josh Hart's the first sub, you put in McBride for him. Brunson last year, like 36% 3-point shooter. McBride was like 39. Mikal was like 37. OG was like 38. Towns was like 39. So your entire starting lineup is like 38.5% from 3.
I mean, dude, you guys lost the series last year. I want to say just because of the Anunoby injury, the hamstring, like I think that kind of like set you guys up to kind of the series to end. If he was fully healthy, I don't like that series could have gone either way.
And what
now
people
you're
don't
adding
realize
Cat?
Is from that team, I love Julius Randle. Hats off to him. 5 years, made the Knicks what they are now. He laid the foundation. Him, RJ Barrett, quickly, all those dudes. But you look at that Knicks team, they didn't have Randle. So you're adding on to that team who was a game away from the Eastern Conference Finals, Karl Anthony Towns and Mikal Bridges.
And all
Yes, you
you lose
lost
is DiVincenzo. Yeah.
Dante, but Mikel's better than Dante. And then you're adding on Towns to that team.
It is nuts. It is nuts.
It's scary. It's scary. So we'll see.
I mean, obviously, barring any injuries, I mean, it's the same for every team. The healthiest team normally wins the championship at the end of the year. That's kind of just how it goes. But, dude, you guys got some firepower offensively and defensively. Like, I mean, Jalen Brunson's not the greatest defender in the world. Everybody knows. But he's going to give you 25, 6, and 7. Like,
and
pretty
he's
much
not a
every
net
night.
negative now. You can stick him. Like, all right, you're playing – who you playing? Indiana. Stick him on Nemhard in the corner. Then you let the other four
for sure.
take care of it.
But then you got Josh Hart, who can lock up and give you 15 rebounds a night, and he might average 13 rebounds a game. There's no Hartenstein. Cat, when he was in Minnesota, he didn't really rebound because Rudy was doing it. So he would just kind of like box out, and if he could grab it, he could grab it. Josh goes and gets the ball. Josh could genuinely average 12-plus rebounds a game as a 6'5" shooting guard, right? And then you have McCall Bridges and Anunoby, who can guard 1 through 5. It is scary. It is scary.
It's going to be scary for sure. But sticking on the NBA trend, Fee, I know we talked about fashion earlier. Give your top 5 drippiest NBA players in no order. Or you can go in order if you have.
In no order, I'm definitely going to name like 3 Oklahoma City players. So, obviously, I don't want to sound crazy, but, my glorious king, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. That was crazy, I know.
Yo.
But no.
Where's Dan?
I'm glad Dan wasn't here.
Yeah.
Because he would have been just like, he would have pulled out a jersey or something. I'm glad he wasn't here.
Really? Yeah,
sure
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is definitely number 1. That's just put that right there. There ain't no order. I would say J-Dub, John Claxton, New Beast, and the last one I would say Jane Green.
Solid. Any old guys? Any Russ fashion? Any LeBron?
LeBron be putting on, but come on.
He's old, yeah. I mean,
he was.
You're right. God, he's 40.
Some days he putting on. Different Curry to be putting on some days.
You're not rocking.
I would say Westbrook be having that on too. But Westbrook he got a different kind of swag. So
you're not rocking with Kyle Kuzma wearing the Thneed from the Lorax, the little pink
I
sweater.
used to be a big fan of Kyle Kuzma, but I feel like he dropped off after that. Yeah, I don't want to even speak on that. I was really mad when I seen that. But that's my opinion. I feel like a lot of people where they agree with my opinion. So it is what it is.
So then I guess for some of the people out there building off of this who aren't necessarily, fashion savvy, just give them a basic, starter outfit. They're going out, they're trying to look good, maybe, nice interview, nice date. What would you recommend that they wear?
I'm not gonna lie. I know how to dress myself, but for some reason, I can't add 2 and 2 together to dress other people. Like I always tell people, like you just gotta figure out, like, your own body. You gotta figure out what fit well for you. But if I was to go out, like you said, on a date, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would just wear I wear some jeans. I wear a lot of baggy jeans. I don't own no pantsuit or tight jeans. I don't wear no skinny jeans. Cause I got long legs. It's gonna look weird. So that's why I don't wear them. That's why you gotta know your body. Like my legs are way longer than my torso, so I wear baggy jeans to cover it up. So I wear some baggy jeans with probably a white tee and a hoodie, and throwing some New Balances, something. That's about it. And you can add some accessories like neck with some chains, earrings, wallet chain. That's about it.
I couldn't be a stylist either.
Yeah, it is tough.
That's a hard job, dude. Especially because these celebrities are paying you a crap ton of money, and if
to
you
make them look good. Yeah, if
and
you
if,
mess
if
up,
they get like hate or something, bro, you're done. You're fired. Like
yeah.
I'm giving you advice.
So before we get out of here, just like to wrap it up with any life goals that you might have that you want to put out there and manifest.
Yeah, man. Definitely, the main goal is to make it to the NBA and be a really, really good player in the NBA. Also, be one of the best players in my country. That's the main goal right there. I'm also trying to get into fashion. Trying to be a model at some point. Uh, you know, that's also on the other side. I think that's about it. I feel like if I can achieve those two goals, everything else I got set up is gone. It's going to fall right in place.
I love it, and I don't doubt that either one of those will come true for a second.
Sure.
And we always like to ask as well if you have any questions or anything for Nick and I. If not, we'll wrap it up over here.
Man, nothing, man. I just appreciate you all for having me. I feel like we've been prolonging this for a while. I'm really glad we finally, get to do this. I appreciate
Yes,
you
sir.
all.
And I appreciate you making the time. I know it's super busy now. Got the first week of practice this week, so just gonna hop on here for a little 40 minutes. Good little sound bites.
Yep.
Hopefully the viewers enjoy it.
Yep.
And as always,
PPP out. Peace.
Yep.